Sound designer Axel Grell has something new for you to hear. Welcome back for another Techstination interview. I'm Fred Fishkin, and joining us from Grell Audio is Axel Grell. Great to have you with us, Axel.
Yes, nice to be here, and thank you for the invitation, Fred.
Well, tell us, first of all, for people who aren't familiar with your background, you've been in this business for a long time. Give us the overview of that.
Yeah, so I'm in the headphone business now for 30 years, and I think I'm with audio nearly all of my life. My father was building electronic organs on himself, so I've built my first speakers when I was 12 years old. And yes, I continued that in school, doing front of house mixing for bands and during university as well. But when I finished university, I started to work for Sennheiser, and I've created some of their better known headphones like HD580s, 600, 650s, the HD800, HD800S, HD, yeah, travel headphones as well. AG1, the very expensive electrostatic one, was my baby as well. So that was a very long pregnancy, but yes, in the end, it was a really very good headphone. Price point was a little bit high. This is this headphone for $60,000, and but for me, still the best sounding. 2.5 years ago, I left the company because I did something that when I left university, I had that plan already to have my own company. But unfortunately, at that time, nobody knows me, nobody trusted in me and want to spend some money. And I have, unfortunately, not enough money to do it on my own. But today, yes, now I found someone to say, okay, let's put some money to Axel and give him the chance to build his own company. And this is what I'm doing in the moment.
And so we have Grell Audio. And what we're talking about is your first consumer product. It's called the TWS one?
Yes, TWS. So my idea is to do, you know, when we look at the history of the quality of audio, how it develops over the years. So, okay, when I was a young boy, it was real tape recorders and cassette tape recorders and record players, and then came the CD, and it was getting better after the mixers know how to do the right mixing for CDs. In the beginning, it doesn't sound that good, but in the end, CD was a big step ahead in sound quality. So when you look to the 90s, beginning of the 90s, the sound was in a very high quality level. But then came MP3. People are listening just to earbuds that were just hanging in their ears. So everything was getting more portable. That's good, but quality went down. And today, I'd say things are getting better. It's possible because so streaming is going to lossless. There's enough capacity to store files uncompressed, to transmit them nearly uncompressed. And so I wanted to do something for the generation that was grown up with, yes, MP3, that was grown up with listening to music from smartphones somewhere lying on the table. But that's not the sound quality that I know. And I know today it's even possible to have better sound quality. And when you ever listen to headphones like, yes, HD800 or HE1, so you know how much detail is possible or is in the music. It's already there. You just have to find it. And I want to give this generation, and a lot of others, of course, as well, the possibility to, yes, explore sound quality. And the first idea was to, yes, make a headphone, yes, something overhead headphone. Yes, Bluetooth should be in because this is standard today. So when you use smartphone as a source and the smartphones have no 3.5 millimeter output anymore, then yes, you need to use Bluetooth in a way. And I think the generation is used to use that. And so it needed to have Bluetooth. But when I see what people are really using in the moment, and what they really like and what they are buying, it's true wireless. And
but that's a challenge, isn't it, to bring the kind of sound that you demand to true wireless headphones?
yeah, it is difficult. And one reason is, of course, you need to have the right drivers, high quality drivers, very low distortion. You have to have the right chipset. I use Qualcomm chipset, then use chipset. And yes, you have, when you have Bluetooth, you have to use the right codecs. So when you're at Qualcomm, of course, you use aptX. For Apple, unfortunately, there's only AAC available in the moment, but this is a limitation set by Apple. I hope they will get better because the library is now, have the lossless library, and doesn't make sense to have a library that is lossless and then transmit it via AAC to earphones. So I hope that Apple will soon have better quality for the transmission from iPhones to in-ears. So let's see, they're always good for a surprise. And but aptX adaptive is something that works very well. So it's really better than standard AAC. So when you just change from AAC to aptX, room widens, and when you see it in optical pictures, but it's like 4K against HD. You know what I mean? So it's everything is clearer, details are better to hear, and so codecs play a role, really. So it's and the other challenge is, of course, when you plug something in the ear, your own the geometry of your own ear, the geometry of your head and body, all that plays a role when you're listening to loudspeakers. And of course, when you're listening to full-size headphones, it's only the pinner, the concha, the resonances in your ear channel that plays a role. This doesn't play a role anymore when you have a true wireless in your ears. When you plug something in your ears, you have just the sound pressure that goes into your ear channel, and you've blocked your ear channel, so it's already detuned in a way. So when I do the sound tuning, I do it, for me, of course, it needs to sound very good to me, but it needs to sound good to a group of test persons that I'm working with, and they have different levels of hearing experience, different preferences and music styles. So it's, but all these patterns of the frequency response at the eardrum are very individual. They're as individual as our fingerprints. So there's an, kind of average. So where things are only changing by some hertz or so. But there are people, I have one person in my test group who has really a peak in his frequency response at the eardrum where I have a dip. So this doesn't play a role when listening to, speakers or, large headphones. But when you have a true wireless something, or not only true wireless plug-in thing, a headphone that sounds good to me will sound bad to him and people like him. So this is, a problem by principle, and how to solve that. And the solution for me was, I've partnered up with company called SonarWorks. You've maybe heard of them. They are doing for studio monitors. They have a software that when a sound engineer is traveling, he can take his SonarWorks kit with him with a microphone in the software, and he can tune the studio he's working in the way his home studio sounds. So it's more or less flat, of course, because I believe the reference place for sound is where the sound engineer, or in the end, the mastering engineer and the artists are creating the sound and say, okay, this is a linear system and it should sound like this. And so this is the target. Now back to SonarWorks. They have made something for headphones as well. where they are measuring the headphone and make it more or less flat. That's okay. Mine is already close to flat, but not boring. But they have a very nice algorithm. And this nice algorithm allows persons who have this completely different frequency response at the eardrum to tune the headphone or earphone by comparing sound examples. Sounds A better, sounds B better, or none of them, in a way like that. It takes half an hour, but after that, you have created your own personal, very fine-tuned equalizer without knowing how to use the equalizer. You know, a lot of people try to use equalizers and they don't know how to do it and make a lot of things in the wrong way. So experienced sound engineers know how to use equalizers, the most of them. But the normal customer, it takes, yes, time to learn how to use a thing like that, right? And with this algorithm, it is not necessary. You can just compare and say, okay, I like this better, I like that better. In the end, you have created your own equalizer that matches the true wireless to your hearing expectations. So that's, yeah, one of the challenges, of course. And yeah, other things are you will use them not only in an environment like that. So you're just listening to it, by the way. So it's these microphones in here I'm using for this interview. And it's a communication device, of course, and you're using it, yes, when you're commuting, when you're in a noisy office where your colleagues are taking telephone calls and so on. So it's good to have something like noise canceling in it.
Well, the sound certainly is impressive, and I notice you don't have the boom that many people have been using on the wireless headphones. Tell us about that strategy.
Oh, that's yeah. I'm just using the Qualcomm technology, CVC technology. So that is two microphones, omnidirectional microphones, and the microphones are used to form a conduit microphone pointing to your mouth. And this is in the end an array, an end-fire array. But the algorithm need to be very well tuned to have a good sound quality, one thing, and when you're outside and it's windy, you have very often the experience then when someone calls you and is using a headset or a smartphone, you can just something like that. Yeah, I think everybody.
Well done.
I think everybody made that a kind of experience, you know that. And for me, it is important that this doesn't happen. So when you're using this outside, of course, frequency, and you have strong wind, you have a little bit decreased frequency range, of course, but there are no dropouts during the communication. So you will hear the other side, yes, the intelligibility of this voice, and yes, the message is there. You can hear it, and you don't have annoying noises from the microphones. There are two reasons. As I said, okay, the Qualcomm algorithm is very good when tuned the right way. So it's all in the fine tuning of it. And for that, you need time. So really, a wind machine, a dummy head saying things, so with an artificial mouse, listening to it and tuning it and setting parameters differently and things like that. When this is very well done, you will have that result. But it's even better when you use very good microphones. And as I said in the beginning, so the drivers are very important. To have good drivers, selected drivers, selected for very low distortion levels, matched drivers with tolerances of ±1 dB. So this is something that I used for headphones like the HD800, which is in a much higher price range. But when you have bigger tolerances, so this is, sorry, not the microphone, this is playback, but when you have bigger tolerances than plus minus 1 dB, then you could have a headphone which has plus 3 dB in the low frequencies and minus 3 dB, which is plus minus 3 is the standard for headphones. And that means you have a boomy, boom, boom headphone without good highs. And, or you can have it the other way around, then you have a hissy headphone. All that could happen, and it's on the label, it is the same headphone, but it sounds completely different. So it depends on just production tolerances. And this should not happen with this headphone. So these are the playback drivers. The microphones should produce no noise, of course. When I talk to you, you should not hear hiss or something like that. And the situation where how they are built into the housing. So you can just make a tube, and a hole in that. And this hole has a sharp edge. And then when the wind blows over it, you will have turbulences. And these turbulences are the sound that goes like something like that. And this is audible. But when you are careful in how you create this intake for sound, and I use a kind of funnel here, so the intake surface is much bigger than the microphone intake, then it is possible that, okay, sound comes in over the whole surface, but the turbulences occur only on a few points of the surface. And so the noise from the turbulences are averaged out in a way. So all acoustical solutions. So I see the problems that occur for the end customer. I never see the product just with the eyes of an engineer. So of course I'm an engineer, but on the other side I'm a user, I'm a customer, and I want to have good sound. I want to have, when I talk to someone, I want to hear what he's saying, not the wind. And when I switch on the ANC, so ANC is integrated as well, it should bring down noise, the machine noise or engine noise of airplanes or rumbling of subway or whatever, wherever you are. And you don't want to hear, and what happens very often when you switch on ANC, that yes, machine noise is gone, but you hear hiss from the microphone. It's going to switch it on, it goes like shh. Say, okay, that's ANC. No, ANC could work without hiss. So the hiss is mainly produced by the microphones, and that is just depending on the price point of the microphone. So I use, or at Grell, it is, so the brand is really called, not Grell Audio is my company, yes, but the company is called Grell. So that's my last name. And yes, I'm proud to have my last name on the product.
Absolutely, and you should be. The attention to detail is evident here. But this is such, I don't need to tell you, a competitive category. Tell us what you want consumers to know when they're out there making a decision about what they're going to buy and they're considering Grell.
I think the first thing is, it's difficult. Of course, true wireless headphones should fit very well in the ear and fit in a way that you can move and it doesn't fall off your ears. So this is important, and it's not uncomfortable. That you can wear it for hours without, yes, saying, oh, it hurts. That's one thing. And the second thing is, of course, it should sound great to you right from the beginning. And when you're listening longer as well. So this test is important when you buy a device. Of course, things like battery lifetime is important as well, or things like what kind of chipset is integrated, is a cheap chipset or is a high quality chipset. So, and for me, the highest quality chipsets at the moment are from Qualcomm.
And your
was
battery life is up to 28 hours. Am I reading that right?
yes, depends on. So it is not with one battery charge for the earbuds. That's between 5 and 6 hours, depends on how much DSP power is consumed. So it depends on if ANC is switched on or NAR is switched on. I come to NAR later. Then it is 5 hours when you have maximum DSP power consumed. When the DSP power is off, it's 6 hours. But it could be recharged in the battery case here 4 times. So it's one time from yes, the batteries itself, and then 4 times recharging. So that gives something like 24, 25 to 30 hours. So it depends on how loud you hear the music and how much noise is around you. So this is a lower limit, so that it's, say, 24 hours, the lowest limit, and 30 hours or a little bit more is the maximum.
So how does it feel to be out there on your own now with this, after having worked with some of the best names in the business?
Whew, I am still in contact with a lot of colleagues from different companies. So I think in the audio industry, there are a lot of nice people working and interested in creating good sounding devices. And yes, it's good to have telephone calls or Zoom calls with friends in the industry. But on the other side, when you are working for a company like Sennheiser, where you have, yes, a very experienced team who can do everything. And now I'm really on my own. I'm working with my wife. She's an industrial designer, or not only industrial, she's an industrial and graphic designer. And so, by the way, the fundamental design of this, and this is the headphones, the 12 on it is not normal. This is just that I don't mix up all the samples. This is made by her, and so we're working as colleagues and in this company, of course, and my wife plays a big role in this whole thing as well. So without her, I would not make it. So it's just on my own. No, never. So it's good to have a partner who have the same dream, as share the same dream, and this is very helpful. Yes.
Wonderful. So tell us about availability and pricing.
It is only available online. In the US, there is a version that is, we developed it together with Drop. So that's a special version for, Mousetrap, and now it's Drop. And it's available there, or it's available online from Grell Audio. And that keeps the cost small, these online sales. And that's one thing. And the other thing, there is no very nice and expensive packaging. So when you have a normal brick and mortar business and have a very nice packaging, then customer easily pays something like $60 to $70 just for the packaging, for the very nice unpackaging experience, for something that you put in the bin after unpackaging. And so I've decided, okay, keep the packaging should protect the product, should be nice in a way, there should be a manual in and things that are necessary. But after unpackaging, it goes, yes, to the bin, and therefore it should be as cheap as possible as well. So it's pure cardboard, corrugated cardboard, paper bags. So it's eco-friendly as well, but this is not the main reason for that. And yeah, so I could keep these costs very small, very low, and the price for the end customer will be below $200.
So under $200 for this kind of quality with this kind of workmanship and detail. It's going to interest a lot of people. For more information, where should they go?
Grell, so as my last name, and then audio without any dashes or dots in between is just one word, grellaudio.com.
Well, it's spelled Grell for those who are listening. Axel, thank you so much for taking the time with us, and we wish you all the best with
Thank
this
you very
venture, and
much.
congratulations. Now this. It takes a lot of listening to build a better radio, and that's just what the folks at C. Crane have done. Bob Crane and his crew, nestled among the rivers and tallest trees in the world in Fortuna, California, have made a habit of listening to their customers. And that's just what they've done in building the CC Skywave SSB, the Swiss Army knife of portable radios. For everyday listening to AM or FM in the yard or patio or on the nightstand, without having to drain a mobile phone battery, it's a great companion. But it is also a companion equipped for NOAA weather information and alerts that can be life-saving. You can listen to FEMA and Coast Guard transmissions too. Beyond all of that, you can tune into shortwave signals from around the world. It's compact, easy to take with you, and built to last. The CC Skywave SSB. Click on the link at Techstination.com.